the Dani Johnson Show. I hope that today's show finds you in a situation where you desire to be blessed, where you make a choice that today is not going to be like yesterday, and that the rest of this week is not going to be like last week, and the rest of this month is not going to be like last month, but that you take control over your own choices, your own life, and you make new decisions that are going to lead you to higher and better places. Higher ground is where you're called to be. Hi, I'm Dani Johnson, and every single day here on the Dani Johnson Show, we bring you content as well as topics and discussion where we are redefining success. What do I mean by redefining it? Well, friend, listen, there's such a messy world out there that is trying to tell us that success is wrapped up in the pretty package of MasterCard, Visa, American Express, lots of debt, not to mention leasing a car, all the student loans, the giant mortgages that we're carrying, and somehow we're supposed to feel good about ourselves. I'm telling you right now, that doesn't make anyone feel good about themselves at all. So we here at DaniJohnson.com, we bring you challenging messaging that says, what's success for you? And also gives you a path on how you can walk that thing out. One of the areas where it's absolutely important to be good at if you want to be successful is to have really good leadership skills. And that's what we're talking about today. Have you ever encountered somebody that is just an amazing leader? Unfortunately, there's a giant leadership gap in the world today. I don't know if you've noticed that. But we're lacking good leadership in all arenas. We're lacking great leadership politically and in the government. We're lacking good leadership in the financial world. We're lacking good leadership in our entertainment world. We're lacking good leadership even in the sports world. We're really lacking good leadership in the church world, which is so sad to me. The very places where, we would expect to see great leadership is the places that we are now seeing the worst level of leadership, I think, ever in history, at least in my lifetime of history. So look, let's define that. What does leadership look like? First of all, it's important for us to identify, do you know somebody that's a great leader? And what, in your opinion, drives you to believe that they are a great leader? To me, great leadership is someone that pulls the best out in other people, not somebody that has some status position or some status title, because that means nothing. There's lots of people with titles and status all over the world, but their character stinks and their people skills are even worse than their character. So therefore, they are not really a good leader just because they have a title and a position. And just because somebody throws around some great leadership quotes doesn't mean that they're a leader either. And by the way, who can be a leader? That's important. Who can be a leader? Born leader, or are leaders made? I'd love to know what your opinion on that. But first of all, let's go ahead and look at who do you know that is a great leader, someone that you've watched from afar. Let's identify what those characteristics are so that you and I can be challenged today on how we can improve in these areas. Because I believe that every parent and every child is a leader. They're leading someone. You have influence on other people's lives, whether you realize it or not. You're influencing somebody. You're setting an example, good, bad, or indifferent. One of the things that I've told all 5 of my kids ever since they were little is you're going to be an example. Which kind of an example is completely up to you. You get to pick how the world views you. You get to pick how the family views you based on your own personal choices and what kind of an example you want to set for others. And so today, I hope between you and I, we're going to have a healthy discussion about leadership that challenges us as we are parents or as we are siblings or as we are a child or we're a worker in the workforce or we're somebody that's volunteering. We all have influence on other people. And once you realize that, now you get to determine where you're going to go and bring higher value in the marketplace, especially in the area of leadership. So joining me right now is Daniel from Austin, Texas. He's got a few things to say about leadership. So Daniel, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Thank you for having me. I think the thing I appreciated most about the leader in my life at the time, her name was Melanie Hodel, and she's actually to this day the best boss I've ever had. And I started out in entertainment publicity, working at this company as a receptionist and then gradually worked my way up. But she, from the time I started there on the phones all the way up to publicist, she treated me with total honor, and she treated my contribution to the company with value.
Huh.
And she really taught me to value excellence.
Wow.
And so the way that I got treated, I mean, I would have worked extra time for her. I didn't care about getting overtime. I would have done literally just anything for her at any time, and a lot of times I did. I went out of my way often, and I wasn't grudgingly do it. I was happy to do it because of how she treated me and how she invested in me.
Wow. Okay, now hold on. This is such good information. I'm so happy that you called it in, Daniel. I'm serious. Okay, so let's go back. You said, first of all, this was a woman that you're talking about, right? So you had this utmost amount of respect for this woman. Did she own the PR firm? Was she the owner of it, or was she the manager, or who was she?
She was the president, so she works directly under the owner.
Okay, awesome. All right, so, and I would say that the reason why she was the president is because of how well she treated people, and that's how she got up into that position, is because she was able to foster loyalty in the people she was working with. Now here, you said even when you started at the bottom on the phones, right? You're pounding the phones, cold calling, right? Trying to get interviews for various different clients, and this woman was treating you with honor and respect.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So she wasn't, and again, this is correct leadership. Correct leadership doesn't just treat the people at the top well with honor and respect and excellence, but it treats everybody wherever you go. That is good character. That is good leadership. And oftentimes we see in leadership that we just see the hobnobbers, right? We just see the ones that are going to pay attention to the important people and treat the important people really, really well, but everybody else they're ignoring. And so what I'm hearing you say is that this particular woman did not do that, that she treated you with honor and respect. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And now, is this person still in your life?
No, she's not. I haven't worked there for almost 20 years.
Wow.
But, yeah, I think about it to this day. I hope that she's doing great, and because she was, like I said, the best boss I've ever had.
This is incredible to me, right? Look, it's been 20 years since you worked with her, and yet she still has influenced your life. Now, tell me how you then played that out. As a man, you had this woman that showed great character and great people skills and great leadership in your life. What has that done for your life? How has her leadership influenced you as a man, as a person in our world, as a person in the workplace? What is the result of her influence on your life?
I think the main thing is that everybody that I'm around, I try to honor. So if I'm in a restaurant, you know, and the person is clearing my table, I'm like, thank you very much. And I just try to figure out how I can show appreciation for what they do.
Yes.
And I think it's just a matter of looking for those opportunities, because you feel that sense of investment that was made in your life, and then you kind of want to pay it back into the lives of other people.
Man, Daniel, I'm so proud of you. And this is amazing, because on so many different levels, you've said so many killer nuggets that help people to become successful. One of the other things that you said was that you would have done anything for her. You would have done anything for her, and that you did do anything for her, and you worked overtime and never even paid attention to the hours that you were working because you wanted to serve her for the way that she served you in the workplace. And, you know, so oftentimes, Daniel, people have a tendency of saying, you know what, I'm not going to give more because I don't think I'm going to get more. But the reality is that she gave more into you and satisfied a need in you, which was honoring and respecting you, not demeaning you, not putting you down. And so oftentimes we see bosses do that, especially the low-level bosses. First-level management bosses have a tendency of lording over their staff. They have a tendency of putting them down, making fun of them. I even heard a story, unbelievable story, of someone completely making fun of their employee in front of a customer, shunning them in front of a customer. And I'm like, what an idiot. You do that, first of all, you lose business in the customer. The customer doesn't feel good about the business that they're doing business with. And not only that, but it made the boss look bad. Not just the employee. The boss looks bad. The business looks bad. This doesn't help anybody want to succeed. And so often, managers are like, it's so hard to find good people. No, it's hard to find good leadership. And good leadership has got to start with a foundation of good character. And at that foundation of good character, it's got to be honor. Honoring everybody that is around you, whether they're at the bottom, middle, or the top, whether it's the person bussing the table that you're at the restaurant with right this minute, listening or watching this program, honor that person. And if you're honoring everybody, you're not faking it only in front of the people you want to show it, but you make this a practice and it impacts people's lives. Daniel, thank you so much, man. That was so good, so helpful. We need more examples of leadership out there. You really should reach out to her and tell her that you spoke on the Dani Johnson Show about her today. Try to find this woman. It's not that hard to find people today with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all the other resources out there, but you should call her and you should write her a note just saying, you really impacted my life. So much so that 20 years later, I'm still talking about the influence that you had on my life, and I treat people better because of how you treated me. It would so bless her tremendously. I'm sure that, who knows, she might need to hear from you. She just might need to hear from you. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Dani Johnson Show, especially with everything that you brought here on the program. I know it was a reminder for me, and I know that anybody else listening is like, oh, gosh, because the fact is that good character is not something that's celebrated very much in today's world. You know, people get away with being jerks. People get away with being idiots. People get away with mistreating people, but that doesn't mean that's how you need to live. That doesn't mean that's how you're going to operate in the marketplace. And I'm telling you, high levels of leadership have high value in the marketplace. It has high value in the home. It has high value for the parents that your kids go to school with. It has high value at the grocery store. It has high value everywhere. It really does. And people, if you make them feel special, you honor them, you pay attention to them, you thank them for what they're doing. Well, Dani, they get paid to bust my table. That waitress is being paid to serve me. That is such a low level of leadership, such terrible character. Hello? You want to be like every other idiot that's out there? No, you don't. You want to be somebody that is known for being honorable. You want to be someone that stands out of the crowd. You want to be somebody that is a breed above, a breed apart. You don't want to be like the 98%ers out there who are crying broke, who can't figure out why nothing works out for them. They can't figure out why everything's always hard. It all boils down to how you treat people. It really does. Money comes from people, and so does opportunity. Good leadership understands that. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more on leadership and helping you become, and me become, a better leader every single day. God bless you as we take this real short break. We'll be right back.
This is the Dani Johnson Show.
The whole story of how I went from homeless to millions is right here in this book, First Steps to Wealth. I'd love to give you a free copy of this book. Just dial 888-757-8880. You can get your free copy of this book. It's like a real book, my friend. You can get an ebook copy for free right now, or if you'd like to pay the shipping to get this $15 book to your house, I'd be happy to send it to you. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of First Steps to Wealth today and begin on a brand new path of some great success.
And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Leadership seems to be something that is really hard to find. You're like, no, Dani, there's leaders all over the place. But are they good? Are they people that are causing you to want to be better? To me, good leadership causes people like you and me to want to be better. Yeah. Bad leadership? Come on. Ancient wisdom tells us that when there's bad rulers in the land, the people weep. They weep. And not only that, but bad leadership then just does what? It duplicates itself. More and more bad leadership, and it just trickles down where people have no morals, people don't have good character, people can't make good decisions. There's so much confusion, and that which is evil is called good, and good is called evil, and it stinks. But here on the Dani Johnson Show, we are redefining what the status quo of success is. We're actually, in this case, taking a bazooka to what the world is currently calling good leadership. Bam! Blow that sucker out of the water, because we need to go back to the basics. Good leadership. What does that look like? Have you ever encountered people that had good leadership? One of the things I'm going to tell you that I know in my heart of hearts that I believe that good leadership stands for, they stand for the cause of those who cannot help themselves. Yeah. You see, low level of leadership is someone who cares about just raising themselves up the ranks, man, so that they get great publicity, so that they are known in the world, that their name is in lights. That's 7th grade level of leadership. But true, awesome leadership is somebody that actually uses their influence to pull better out in others and to drive people to something that is worth living for, and using that influence to take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. That's what I love about what King's Ransom and Food for the Poor is doing. Have you heard about this? It's incredible. I want you to think about this. Imagine that you have a wife or a husband and 2 kids and 2 grandchildren. Imagine that your home is on full-on hollow ground. No, there's no foundation for your home. You basically have gathered a bunch of scrap wood and you've put it all together with mud and a few branches and a few tarps here and there, just basic trash that others have thrown away, and you have pulled it together, and this is what you call home. Imagine, my friend, that the ground beneath you is an abandoned mine, an abandoned gold mine. And also imagine that just a couple months ago, your neighbor's house sunk into the ground. Imagine. Yeah. And your pregnant neighbor was found 17 hours later, dead, with an 8-month-old baby inside of her womb. That would be devastating, wouldn't it? Now see, awesome leadership, here's this. This is Pablo's life and Sandra. This is their life. Every 6 hours, dynamite is blown beneath their feet in a local gold mine. And these people, because of the extreme poverty that they have, they put together a house, which is scraps. Every 6 hours, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 7 a.m. Dynamite blows, the structure shakes, and Pablo is tormented with the thought that, is my family next for the earth to swallow up? Great leadership hears about Pablo and says, I gotta do something to help that guy. What could we do? First of all, he has no food and he gets water every 4 days. I've been to Pablo's house. You should see his house. I actually have pictures on Facebook of his house. I have pictures with me and him and his wife and his children. Listen to me. We can help him. And good leadership isn't about stuffing more money in their own bank accounts for their own selves and for their own future, for their own families. But great leadership actually cares about helping someone like Pablo. We're going to build Pablo a house in a totally new area. And we're also going to put him in business, the chicken business. He's going to end up with a way not only to feed his family, but he's going to be able to sell some eggs and sell some meat. He's going to be able to breed these chickens. His wife is actually going to get in the tailoring business. We're providing her a sewing machine. We're going to put a well right on his property. He's going to have a fence around his brand new house. We can do this for $5,200. A brand new home for him and his family, safe, no longer on hollow ground, but now on a sure foundation that is built to actually handle the hurricanes and the earthquakes that happen in his areas. You can help. You can rise up into great leadership right now by going over to kingsransom.org. Again, that's kingsransom.org. And click on, right in the homepage, you'll see it says Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. So click on that and give what you can. Is it $1? $1 is going to help do something for him. It might be able to buy a meal for him and his family. $2 might be able to buy 2 days of food for him. Let's get him in a brand new house. Let's get him sustained, as well as 1,000 other people that are in the same exact situation. Go to kingsransom.org, Santa Pancha, Nicaragua. Click now and do what you can. This is Dani Johnson. We're going to go more into leadership right after this.
Do you know what's been holding you back? The way you think. It's time to take on a whole new mindset.
I'm so blessed that I found what is in Grooming the Next Generation for Success. This is a book that is being taught in universities around the world. It's been noted as the best book on parenting that has ever been written. Crazy, if you ask me. But the point is that this thing gets results. Get your copy today, 888-757-8880. Again, that's 888-757-8880. Or go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com. Get your copy today.
Are you ready for a whole new mindset? This is the Dani Johnson Show.
To whom much has been given, much is required. Oh, I'm telling you, that saying, that piece of wisdom has been working me over on the inside for the last several months now. To whom much has been given, much is required. You see, that right there is the root of leadership. that needs to be the standard in which those who desire to be in leadership actually, kind of gauge themselves. You see, a lot of people want to be in leadership for the perks, for the title, for they're going to somehow be respected because they have that title or they have that kind of position in other people's lives. But the fact is, anybody in any kind of a leadership role, there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with it. And here on the Dani Johnson Show, where we redefine success, we don't go along with the status quo of success, because if we were, we'd end up a bunch of numbskulls like everybody else that's out there, totally riddled in debt, suffocating under the pressure of it, messed up marriages, messed up kids, messed up life, all kinds of health problems, and not forget our 5 different bottles of pills that we have to have just to live, and we're only 40 years old. Really? That's not the life that we want. But leadership can help you bring more value into the marketplace, help you to become more valuable at home. Good leadership can have you become more valuable to your kids, to your community, to your church, to whatever it is that you do. And so don't go along with the status quo of what leadership is being defined for us out there. Let's really look at what does the world need in leadership? How can you and I rise up into that position so that we can make a difference in the world that is so needing it right now? There's a giant void for leadership. So let's discuss that. So one of the ways to figure out good leadership is to figure out what bad leadership looks like. Yeah. So joining me right now, we got Carla, who's called in from El Paso, Texas. Carla, it sounds to me like you've had some bad experiences with people in leadership. Tell me about that.
Well, just a little. What started off to be what I thought would be a good relationship, because I was introduced to this leader to be a family, having an extensive, long relationship. We're talking like 3 decades worth.
Wow.
Moving into a new town, a fresh start, thought it would be good, but as time progressed, at first, I gave it my all. I gave everything my all. And helped overtime hours like you wouldn't believe. Tried to help it. It was a very small Christian school, so I try to give back as much as I can, you know. But as time progressed, I started seeing qualities in the leadership that were not kind. They were not cool. The principal / owner, boss, when things would happen and it would be at her negligence or because she forgot something, she was so quick to blame the first person near her, whoever was in the room. Certain situations, if she wanted something to be done in a certain way in her school, instead of saying, "Okay, I'd like to change this policy and let's start doing this way, this way, whatnot." Next thing I knew, I would have teachers coming up to me saying, "Hey, I heard that you wanted to do this, that, the other, and change how we come in," because I was a computer teacher at the time.
Right.
And they would come into the class on off times to use the computers to do their lesson plans and whatnot. And unbeknownst to me, they were being told that their window of opportunities were only until after school or whatnot. They were.
So meaning, hold on a second. Let me back up. So the first thing, Carla,
and I'm just going, I didn't say that.
Right. Okay, but hold on a second, because I want to make sure that we're identifying what some of these bad leadership qualities are, and then again, what was the fruit in your life from it? So first of all, one is blame. This is huge. It's a personal pet peeve of mine, like hardcore personal pet peeve of mine. You see, as I've been teaching people about success for 2.5 decades, and leadership is hugely important for success of a school, success of a business, of a family, of a church, leadership. And in leadership, the character trait of taking personal responsibility is a must. It's a non-negotiable. And so even when, and for example, I've been running companies for 2.5 decades, and what I can tell you is that when my team makes a mistake, I'm the front man that people come to about the mistake. And so when something isn't going right or a policy hasn't been fulfilled correctly, I'm the one that people blame for what that is. And so my answer is, I'm so sorry for that. Please forgive us. I will check into what the circumstances are and we'll get this fixed, because we want to make sure that you're honored. We believe in giving the best possible service to our clients. And so it's important for good leadership to take responsibility, because as a leader, we are responsible for a team of people. And if that team isn't producing correctly, the bottom line is, at the end of the day, it's the leader's fault. It's not the team's fault. It's the leader's fault. And as a leader, much is required of them to take responsibility even for what the team is or is not doing. And so blame is a sure way to cause division. In fact, when you would sit in those meetings, Carla, and the principal of that school would just instantly blame somebody else, how did that make you feel as an employee of that school?
Well, not good. Not good. It made me feel like everything that I was doing for inevitably to help her run her school was she was like spitting or slapping in my face, and we'd all look at each other because we knew what the truth was.
Yeah.
It was like she was on another planet or something, and it caused a lot of division.
Yes.
Instead of wanting unity and wanting your teachers to work together and for the greater good and for parents to see that unity.
Yes.
My gosh, and let me tell you, parents were not, she
not
did this
happy.
to parents as well.
Yes, absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
it was not, it taught me, it taught me, especially when sometimes, I'm not perfect. I fall. Okay. You're talking to somebody that's not perfect, Dani.
You're talking to someone that's not perfect, Carla.
And I've treated people ugly at times.
Yes.
And I am so quick to apologize. I am so quick to apologize. I grew up with a dad that always belittled me and embarrassed me. It's humiliating. It's such a horrible feeling. And I felt very humiliated by this principal.
Yes.
It just brings everything back up, you know, and
Totally.
it's just horrible.
Yeah.
We should honor each other.
Yes.
There's so much.
Yes.
So many more.
And you know what?
things
Here's a reality on leadership.
You know?
If somebody cannot take personal responsibility, they have no business being in leadership, number one. Number two, if they have a tendency of blaming people, they have no business being in leadership. None. And the bottom line is they will never rise to high levels of leadership if they are a blamer. If they are a blamer and they're pointing the finger and it's somebody else's fault for the issues that are going on with the company, with the school, with the family, with the business, the reality is that it's never going to get solved. And as you said, it caused division. It causes people to take sides. It causes everyone else to blame that other person, right? So it's a gang up deal on that one. Then you have a staff that's afraid of making mistakes. And when the staff is afraid of making mistakes, now we've killed creativity. We have completely caused a desert to happen inside of that business or charity or school. And now it's like, we can't grow. And you know what happens? Then the leader looks at that and goes, oh, it's my people's fault, or it's the economy's fault, or it's Obama's fault. It's somebody else's fault as to why I'm failing or I'm not succeeding the way that I want to. So here's the facts. And Carla, I appreciate you so much for everything that you've said, because it's so dead on that leadership requires taking responsibility for the team. For the whole team. So if we have a bad year or we have a bad month, whose fault is it? At the end of the day, it's the leader's fault. It's not the people's fault. And we have to be the one to say, hey, listen, I made some poor decisions. And I'm going to do what I can to correct those decisions. And, I should have done things a little bit better in this particular area. And why? Because, again, at the end of the day, it's the leader's responsibility for the success of the overall team. And what does that look like? Pulling the best out of that team. Encouraging that team, encouraging unity within that team, soliciting their opinions about how things could be made better, calling upon their creativity. You'd be amazed, especially when you've got a combination of people, different personalities, different experiences. I'm telling you, my friend, right now, it is powerful, the amount of talent and ability and ideas and problem solving that can come out of a group of people, so much more than it can come out of one single individual. Good leadership asks the opinions of their people. Good leadership wants to learn how their people think instead of putting them down and blaming them. So, Carla, thank you so much for that example. We need to know good and bad examples of leadership so we can make new decisions for ourselves where we say, this is the kind of leader I want to be. Or, I'm kind of not too good in this area. I love what Carla said. Dani, I'm not perfect. I fall all the time. I'm like, girlfriend, I'm not perfect. I fall all the time. The key is that we get up and we learn from our mistakes, right? That's the important thing. We get up, we learn from our mistakes. When we continue with the Dani Johnson Show, we're going to go even deeper into this discussion about leadership. I know today is helping you. It has to be helping you. It's helping me because listen, it's not about hearing something new. There's 1,000 books out there on leadership. Okay, my favorite book on leadership would be the Bible. I mean, wow, so much stuff on leadership in there. But as we go deeper in this, the challenge is that if we're hearing something we've heard before, how now do we apply that better in our life? Not get deaf ears, but that we activate our feet and become better people, because the world needs it today. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life.
I just heard this amazing story. One of our clients had written us telling us that they had used job domination and unlimited success and has absolutely exploded their career. He said, Dani, I don't know where I'd be today without job domination and unlimited success. Listen, do you want more recognition from your coworkers? Do you want to be recommended to people all over the world? Do you want to be somebody that is highly sought after? Listen, if you're in a dead-end place where this gentleman found himself, but then learned new strategies and changed everything in his work life, and obviously this has resulted in higher bonuses and pay raises, you're next. 888-757-8880. Get your copy of Job Domination right now. 888-757-8880. Again, 888-757-8880. Job domination. That's what you need. It's time for you to dominate the job market and break through the rut that you're in.
And now back to the Dani Johnson Show.
Dani, you're not aware of this, but I am a great leader. But for some reason, no one's following me. I'm called to leadership. Well, then if no one's following you, you might want to do a checkup from the neck up as well as from the chest up. Heart issues, mind issues, mouth issues. Because if no one's following, there's a problem. And you see, good leadership is not a title, it's character and skill. Character, that has to do with what's inside of your heart, and what's inside of your heart comes out your mouth. And how we treat people determines whether or not they're going to follow us. Yes, you heard me. You can be a dictator, you can be a Hitler, or you could be a Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa has left quite a mark on this earth, hasn't she? And so has Hitler. What do you want to be known for? Huh? So there's two ways to lead. One is by freedom and love, and the other is by control and manipulation and fear. I've worked under leadership of control, manipulation, and fear before, and wow, this certainly does not cause anybody to want to be better people. So here on the Dani Johnson Show, we redefine success. Unfortunately, we see in today's world low character in leadership, people who have titles, but they do not have the character and skill to be able to lead a movement and lead a people to greatness. We've had that kind of leadership in around the world before, and I believe that the earth is begging for that again. So we're taking your call concerning good and bad leadership that you've experienced, what you've learned from it, and what you think that we should be seeing more of in the world, okay? So we're going over to line 3. We've got Rachel from Phoenix, Arizona. Rachel, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, thanks, Dani. My first job that I had, my manager, I worked concessions. And there were just things you had to do. Sometimes you'd have to lift things or cut brownies or whatever. There'd be all different kinds of things to do. But one of my managers would make it a point, even if I was right there to be able to help do something with him, he would make it a point to ask the male coworker who was, could be 20, 30, 40 feet away to come and do that, even though I was right there, and would rarely assign the male team members to do things like cut the brownies, but would have them, drive the truck or something like that. And it was just frustrating because I just wanted a chance to step up and do something simple.
How did that
really undervalued?
Yes. Rachel, how did that make you feel? How did it make you feel that you are right there, you're ready, you're able, you're willing, and you're being overlooked? You see, now this is that low level of management. That's that low level of leadership, and people determine their pay grade based on how they treat people. And when people put people down like that, they play favorites like that, that guy doesn't go very far in life. So how did that make you feel at your first job with this kind of manager over you, this kind of leader? Oh, we lost her. Okay, well, one of the things that she said is she felt like she was being degraded. And we do, you know, when we are purposely being overlooked, when we are purposely being ignored, then we have a tendency of not performing very well. It's very true. So if you're in leadership right now and you're one of those, you know, you think you're in good management, you know, I'm a manager, you know, I'm a manager. So I'm the manager, you better do what I say. Okay, hi Hitler. Okay, no, that's not how that goes. You get people to follow you based on treating them with honor, respect, and love, and looking inside of that person for what their skills are, looking for what their characteristics are, looking for what they are good at, and giving them a platform of an opportunity to fly, giving them an opportunity to grow and to develop new skill sets and to become something better than where they're at. You see, a sign of good leadership is raising up other leaders all around you. That's a sign of good leadership. And so if you want to grow in your career and you want your home to be better, then this is an area that you got to grow in. We've got Rachel back on the line. Rachel, welcome back. So how did that make you feel, love? Sorry about, I don't know what happened with the disconnection of the line, but what happened? Oh. How did it make you feel? How did you perform on that job?
Well, it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. And it was really discouraging. That wasn't my only manager I had at that job. Mm-hmm. There were some managers where even if we were wrapping hot dogs, we were all working together, and it was a ton of fun. But with that manager, I did a good job at whatever I was given, but I just felt like I had to keep on always prove myself that I was good enough to do things. And it was just really frustrating. I'm a challenge-oriented person, and so to be not even given a chance is just kind of, I let it shut me down in some ways.
Okay, so listen to me right now, because this is what I want to focus on. You had said, no, there are other managers that were good. Those other managers pulled out the best in you. But look at this. So this one manager, you felt shut down. Now, even though you're saying, I still did a good job, but did you do as good of a job for that manager that you did for the other managers?
No.
Of course not. Of course not, right? And did you dread having to work with him?
Yes.
Right? So it kind of creates and causes us, and this is what's important, Rachel, and so this is how you can use this in your life. This is how we all need to use it, because somebody right now is listening to this and they're working for that kind of a manager. They're working for someone that is degrading. They're working for someone that's belittling, maybe not with their mouth, but with their eyes, with their actions, how they're overlooking you, how they're asking somebody else to do your job. Okay, so we all might, there's plenty of people out there right now that are in that situation. But what is the right thing for us to do? If we are wanting to rise up in leadership, yet we have a manager or a leader over us that has very poor character, very poor skill set in working with people, what is the right thing for us to do in that circumstance?
The first thing that comes to mind is encourage them in everything you can do and still do your absolute best. Yes. And that's dead on what you should be doing. So when you know someone doesn't like you, when you know that somebody is purposely overlooking you, you got to make a friend with them. You got to make a friend. You know, it's called, in the best success book ever written, in Proverbs, it says it's heaping hot coals over their head. So when you kill them with kindness, when you encourage them, you write them a thank you note. Thank you so much for what you've been teaching me today. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you and for you. Thank you for everything that you're doing to be able to help provide a job for me. Now, everything in us, ego just says, what? I don't want to thank him for squat. No, this kind of encouragement, you see, someone that treats people like that, he has low self-esteem himself.
He doesn't feel good about himself. In fact, he was probably belittled. He was probably put down. He was probably overlooked, which is where he learned how to do these kinds of things. And so when we give that person a little special extra attention and we honor them, we respect them on purpose, we don't give them a reason to mistreat us anymore. And sometimes it gets a little worse before it turns around and it actually gets better. And here's the bottom line. You will end up getting promoted while he'll end up getting demoted if his bad attitude and bad character and skill set continues. So that's how you rise above bad leadership, is by building relationship with the bad leader, honoring them, respecting them, working hard for them, pretending like they are treating you really, really well, giving them what you want to receive from them. And that's how you will be able to rise. Thank you so much, Rachel, so much for that input. Very, very important. Good nugget for leadership for all of us today. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more of the Dani Johnson Show right after this.
Don't go away. The next segment might just change your life. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
This is your chance. This is your shot. Get your copy of War on Debt right now. There's one waiting for you that has your family's name on it. And inside that package is freedom. Your freedom, your family's freedom is on the inside of that package. All you have to do is open it up, press play, and start applying what I teach you in this program. 888-757-8880. You and I are going to help your family become completely debt-free in the next 5 to 7 years. Just imagine how that's going to feel.
The thing that's been holding you back is between your ears. It's time for a whole new mindset.
Leadership requires vision. Here on the Dani Johnson Show every single day, we talk about success. And we talk about success for you. You see, success for you might be different than it is for me. And it might be different for your neighbor. For your neighbor, it might be making millions of dollars. But for you, it might be being an amazing mother or father, having your priorities straight, having peace and harmony in your life, doing good for the world, not leaving this world with a bunch of junk that you can't take with you, but instead reaching out to maybe the homeless or the poor, the widow, the sick. Success for everyone is different. And you see, in our society, they try to tell us this is the cookie cutter form of success. And I'm here to tell you, it's a big fat lie. You were designed with a purpose and you have a destiny. And I believe that you were designed with the destiny of leadership in mind. And as a leader, you must have a vision. I don't care if you're 4 years old or you're 40 or you're 80, you have to have some kind of vision. And if you are in that area right now where you're like, man, Dani, I can't even picture myself where I want to go. I'm so riddled with debt. I have so much pressure on me from the job. I have so much pressure on me with things at home and the medical bills that are piling up. I wish I could have vision. I want to help you have more vision. First of all, one thing that you can do is you can go over to DaniJohnson.com right now and you can get a hold of this. It's free. We'd love to give this to you for being a listener of the Dani Johnson Show. More importantly, I want you to be somebody that actually activates the things that you hear every single day on the show. Was today's show helpful for you? I know that it was. It was helpful for me, man. There was some great convicting information that I need a reminder of as a leader. And so I want to give this to you. It's First Steps to Wealth. Absolutely free. You can get the ebook copy right now. You can download the copy of it immediately. And if you would like to get a physical copy, you pay the shipping to get the $15 book to your house and I'll send you the book. Okay. Dial this phone number if you'd like to get the physical copy. If you're one of those you like to dog ear, highlight inside and all of that stuff, you don't want to read it digitally, then call 866-760-8255. Again, that's 866-760-8255. Start reading it immediately. Definitely get the ebook because you can start immediately. It's going to help you get more vision. I tell the story about how I was a homeless woman and became a millionaire inside of 2 years. And maybe $1 million is not your thing. That's okay. Maybe I help you make $1 million that you give away like we do every single year. Let's give lots of money away and help people like Pablo and Sandra in Santa Pacha. Help them get that brand new home, establish them in that new business. I was talking about that earlier in the show. Let's make money together so we can help the poor, we can help the widow, we can help the elderly, we can help everybody that actually needs help instead of just stuffing our storage units with more junk that we forgot we even had, okay? First Steps to Wealth, it's our gift to you for you being a faithful listener to the show, go to DaniJohnson.com. That's DANI Johnson.com right now. Get your copy. If you want the physical copy, 866-760-8255. Well, friend, that's it for me today. Can't wait to talk to you tomorrow, where we're going to press each other into more successful people. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.
In your face and in your corner. You've never had a coach like this before. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
I remember being homeless and broke and broken in every way, and being overloaded with financial pressure, the pressure that I was a failure, the social pressure, everything that I felt like was crashing down on top of me. And at the same time, I felt so alone until I learned the strategies of first steps to success. You have the chance, my friend, to annihilate all of your debt. Think about that. You have the chance to grow your income through your current career, or even learning to start a brand new business that will be profitable. You also have the chance for learning how to motivate the people that are in your life that are driving you crazy, and how to have significant breakthrough, not only spiritually, but physically, financially, and socially, and business-wise. And so I'm excited to see you at First Steps to Success. It's coming up January 17th through the 19th. Get yourself registered today, 888-757-8880. There's a seat with your name on it, friend. 888-757-8880.